Ryan, that bee guy here. Today, we're at my friend David's house where a massive tree has fallen down. It's got a beehive in it. So we're rescuing this beehive and we're gonna take it away and put it in a box. So huge old tree, probably 100 years old. The bees have been there for about a year and a half, they guess. So we'll see how they go. So far they're very friendly, but they'll probably change when we fire up the chainsaw. So we're going to light the smoker first and get into it. So the bees have settled, so they've reorientated to this spot, which is going to help us.
Yeah, just when they thought their bad day couldn't get any worse, mate, you come along with your smoker.
Yes, and then the chainsaw.
So what are they doing now to react to the smoke? They're grabbing some honey, are they?
Yep, I'll go and fill their bellies with honey. And that comes from their thousands of years of living in trees. If they smelt a bushfire, they would all go and gorge themselves on honey. So if they needed to abandon ship, they've got food in their belly for a few days to survive.
Okay.
So that's one thing they do. And the other thing is it interrupts their communication. So when the bees feel under threat, they send out an alarm pheromone. So if there's a bunch of smoke around, the ones that do send out their alarm pheromone, that pheromone doesn't get through to the others, so everyone else stays calm. So I've got no idea how big this thing is. I know it goes at least down to here. Who knows how far down it goes. The whole tree was hollow and rotten all the way to the trunk, so I'll cut it down maybe 1.5 meters and see what we find. So let's get into it. Safety first. So far so good. No mistakes.
Don't speak too soon. Pretty soft old tree, Ryan, eh?
Yeah, very old. Look at that. Honey.
Got a few in there, have we?
Yeah, there's a few. Oh, there's a mountain of honey. Look at that thing.
Oh my goodness.
Try some honey?
Sure.
Wow, it's awesome. Pretty old dark comb. We got it all open, decent size. That's where it finishes. That's where it ends. It's quite the mess. Mostly the mess I've made with the chainsaw. But we'll start pulling it to bits. A lot of honey, like a mountain of honey. Look at all that. That's all honey. That's all honey. Honey. It's all honey. Wow, these girls have been busy. Shame to ruin their day. The comb, I can see, goes right down to there, so I'll cut this section out so we can get to it all.
So do they separate their honey from their brood as well? Do they like put it in the box?
Yeah.
And that they naturally do that.
Yep, they naturally do that. So the brood will be, depending on what shape the cavity is, but then honey will go around that. Have that honey thermal storage, so it stores heat so they can keep the brood warm. Look at the size of this thing. Hope it doesn't go up that way. But if it does, we have the technology. Alright, we're just going to start carefully pulling it to bits. We've got a bucket full of the old brood, and we've got a bucket full of honey. So we'll just work our way through. So far, not a single sting. So let's hope it stays that way. We'll use a bit of smoke to help run the bees that way while we're pulling it all to bits. And then probably later we'll get the bee vacuum and vacuum them up as we go.
How would you describe this hive, Ryan? Huge honey filled. It's full of drone. It's full of brood. Haven't found the queen yet, but it's very productive hive.
So only 2 stings so far, and they were both my fault. Excellent squashing bees.
As you say, they're pretty classic for all the trauma they're going through.
Yeah, very much so. I'd be a bit more pissed off if I were them. Okay. Awesome. See all those little black beetles?
Yeah.
So they would have taken over. If we just had just left this tree on the ground, they would have taken over this hive and laid a ton of eggs, and they hatch and crawl through the hive, and they look like maggots. Okay. They leave a slime behind, called a slime out, where they just eat everything and they make an absolute mess. And the bees end up leaving.
And the bees don't attack them?
They do normally. So this hive has got a ton of hive beetle, but the bees were dealing with it fine. But when these combs collapse on each other, the bees can't get to them, so they can just thrive and lay thousands of eggs.
Right.
And then when the maggots, the hive beetle larvae, take over, there's really no stopping them.
And they eat the honey, do they?
They eat the honey, the brood. They just eat everything, and they tunnel through it and leave this horrible slime behind. It's a real mess. So yeah, this hive would have died if we just left it.
And what's the scope of work when you do a swarming phone call?
3! So yeah, every job's different. So I had one recently at a school. It was tiny. It was only like a ball of bees about this big on a little post about yay high. So I had a little nucleus colony box, 5 frames. So I just put it right next to them, and I grabbed handfuls of bees, looked for the queen, shook them in the box. When I found the queen, I put her in a little cage like so, and then put her in the box on one of the frames, and then scooped all the bees in, and then just sat back and chilled out, and the rest of them walked in the box. Sometimes they're on a wall of a house or somewhere that's a bit odd. I can't just shake them into a box, or just vacuum them up, or sometimes just scoop them.
So is that their transition home, or is that they put their permanent roots down there?
That's their transition home. Yeah. They hang out in a temporary location somewhere and send out scout bees all over the neighbourhood, looking for nice dry sheltered cavities, which is usually a brick wall, and then they move in there, and I get the call. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Getting there. Got all the brood out. I think the rest is just honey and bees.
Okay.
This might have been their entrance. I think we're done. Done with all the comb anyway. A few stragglers left. So I might start cutting this open. so the bees have got nowhere to hide, and then we'll be able to vacuum them all up so none get left behind. Well, the least amount of bees that get left behind possible. This is as deep as it went, so we got it all. It's all just rubbish. Right, we are done here. We've got 99% of the bees in our bee vacuum here. And we're just going to cut this up so we can get it away so there's no bees left for when the arborists come and clean all this. And then we will take the bees back to the bee yard, set them up on their hive stand and give them a new home. So see you back at the bee yard. Alright, we're back at the bee yard. We brought these girls here last night and they are busy. So today we're going to open them up, put them on the hive base and see how they're doing. I'm going to open up one of the other hives and give them a couple of frames of brood, just because all their brood was no good, so it's going to give them a bit of a head start. Alright, we're going to pull some frames of brood out of this hive. Okay, this is what we're looking for. Looking for one with a bit of honey, brood, and pollen. The pollen's their protein source. Honey is their nectar, their carbohydrates. And there's larvae. And eggs. That's what we want. Grab a couple of them. Also got a bit of honey here for them, with a jar of honey with a few lids, a few holes in the lid, a bit of food. Alright, that's it. We'll do an update in a couple of weeks and see how they're doing. But yeah, that's it, job done. About 2 weeks later, we check this hive. I did check it a couple of days later just to make sure we had a queen, and we did, so now we're going to see how they're going. They ate all that. That's amazing, we started on the last frame already. So this was all foundation except for, I think we gave it 2 frames brood. Yeah. It's amazing. It's all nectar. Oh, beautiful. That is full of larvae and eggs. I'm going to come a bit closer and see. I don't know, it's a bit hard to see, but all young larvae in those cells. And here we've got fresh eggs. Queen's been there within 3 days. Very good. Yeah, the queen is laying heaps. She's amazing. Oh, look, there she is. She's a very healthy. Oh, put that one back in. Cap brood. and young larvae. That's very good. And the same thing on this other side, I built all these out. I've half built out that first frame, so I don't need to see any more. That is a good result. This hive is very healthy. Alright, that's it. Job done. It's another one from Ryan, that bee guy. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you on the next one.